Alright, before I start, I would like to apologize for any noise you might hear in the background. There's construction outside the window, and the reason I'm here is because my roommates are... One roommate is sleeping, and the other has a midterm to study for, so I don't want to distract them. But anyway, let's get on with the review. Okay, this review is going to be split into two halves. First half will be what I thought of the movie and so on. And after I give my rating, the second half will be comparisons of how I feel between Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man. Okay, so even though Richard Donner's Superman came out in 1978 and X-Men came out in 1999 or 2000, somebody correct me or I'll just put an annotation right. Let's put it right here. How about that? The Sam Raimi Spider-Man back in 2002, as much as I like The Amazing Spider-Man, I still think it was too soon to reboot. That changed the way superhero movies were made up until these three movies came out. So obviously everyone knows that this movie is the origin of Spider-Man. Peter Parker gets bitten by a radioactive spider. Do I have to explain the rest? So in this one, Norman Osborn, played by Willem Dafoe, basically becomes the Green Goblin, and yeah, Spider-Man fights the Green Goblin. That's it. Okay, so there's a lot that this movie did right, very right, and then there are some stuff that just did not work in this movie at all. Apparently you like hearing bad stuff before the good stuff. I'll go over what's wrong with this movie. First off, the villain. Willem Dafoe is a very, very good Norman Osborn. He is so menacing as Norman Osborn. However, when he's the Green Goblin and he has to go into that horrible costume, he turns from subtle to so Adam West Batman over the top. If you haven't seen the movie, I'm probably making it sound worse than it actually is, but if you've seen the movie, maybe you agree with me, because he is not, I don't think he's threatening as the Green Goblin. He's just goofy. And that suit, that costume really did not do anything to help. I could probably pick that thing up from Walmart or Target. Another thing that I laughed at is the special effects. The special effects just look so bad. I'm laughing at them because of how bad they look. I'm sorry. I'm thinking back. If you watched the Nostalgia Critic and you saw his top 11 Spider-Man moments with the special effects, I love how he says when Peter Parker's jumping across buildings, it looks like I love how he says it looks like a rejected image from Toy Story, and he's true. He's right about that. But yeah, in all seriousness, the special effects suck. And when you think about it, there's no excuse. Back in 2002, Gollum in Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers came out, and that looked amazing. And then next to Spider-Man, it looks like crap. Another personal problem I have with the movie, and I admit this is my problem. I didn't get a nerd rush like I did with stuff like Iron Man, Thor, so on. And the only superhero I knew back then was Spider-Man. I didn't pay much attention to Batman, didn't pay much attention to Superman. Spider-Man was the one I always loved. And even when I saw it in the theater, I didn't really have much excitement. I didn't have the excitement that I should have had being 11 years old at the time. Okay, that's the stuff I didn't like at all, but what did I like? Well, the other actors I really like. Tobey Maguire is good as Spider-Man and Peter Parker. No, I wish he would be more of a smartass as Spider-Man. I love Kristen Dunst as Mary Jane Watson. James Franco's cool as Harry Osborn. But the one actor that I think everyone can agree on that they love is J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. This guy nails J. Jonah Jameson to a T that they probably have no choice but to get him again for the Amazing Spider-Man series. Because they are not going to find someone as good as J.K. Simmons to play J. Jonah Jameson. End of discussion. The movie also has heart. It's sweet between Peter Parker and MJ. It has some humor that works. And the action scenes are cool from time to time. That's really much all I can say that is good. I mean, the rest of the movie kind of speaks for itself. Overall, it's a very fun, action-packed superhero movie. I didn't look at it with much importance like I do with Iron Man or The Dark Knight. And, well, I would see it again. I would see it several times, and I'd still enjoy it. So, because of the crappy special effects and Willem Dafoe's over-the-top Green Goblin, it's going to be 3.5 stars. It's fun. It's a fun popcorn movie, but nothing you should go nuts for. Okay, so now you're going to see me move to the floor because my back kind of hurts as we start part 2 of this review, comparisons between The Amazing Spider-Man and The Spider-Man. This is going to be very spoiler heavy with a lot of spoilers from The Amazing Spider-Man. If you don't want to be spoiled, then tune out and come back when the tag that says spoiler alert goes away. Then you can come back and finish the video. Other than that, if you've seen The Amazing Spider-Man, then let's get into this discussion. Both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield play Spider-Man and Peter Parker in very, very different ways. I mean, said I like Tobey Maguire, but by comparison, he's not as good as Andrew Garfield. What Tobey Maguire does is he plays Spider-Man like a real nerd. When he was talking about a lot of scientific stuff, I could believe it, but it was like, it got annoying at points. He's such a dweeb at times. And yeah, just spot him more as a nerd than an actual smart guy. Whereas Andrew Garfield, on the other hand, he's actually cool. He's a cool guy, and he really is. You believe that he is a scientific genius. I mean, with the development of the web shooters and being able to complete that formula for Dr. Connors, which segues into 2 things. Obviously, the Sam Raimi series has Spider-Man doing organic web shooters. Like, it comes from here. Whereas in The Amazing Spider-Man, Peter Parker had to develop mechanical web shooters, which I actually prefer the mechanical web shooters because it plays more into the genius part. But the organic web shooters seem to work because, I mean, why get bit by a radioactive spider and not leave out why get bit by a radioactive spider and leave out the webbing is a bit confusing, but I still like mechanical web shooters better. And the villain is better in The Amazing Spider-Man. Again, Willem Dafoe is good, but as the Green Goblin, he is over-the-top goofy. Whereas Rhys Ifans, as Dr. Kirk Connors, you feel sympathy for him at times, and when he's the Lizard, despite whatever preconceptions I had of the face, he really is terrifying. He's more threatening than the Green Goblin was in the first movie. And while I may not have understood the Lizard's motivation in The Amazing Spider-Man, his scheme just seemed more evil, because with the Green Goblin, I just felt like he just wanted to cause mayhem, just be a douchebag around the city. I didn't feel like he really had any motivation to be evil. I also felt more of an impact when bad things happened, like when Uncle Ben died in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I didn't feel all that much, probably because Tobey Maguire's crying face ruined it. In The Amazing Spider-Man, it's more heartbreaking when Uncle Ben dies, because you actually see him get shot, and you see the kids at school like saying, "I'm sorry." Even Flash Thompson, who is a big jackass towards Peter Parker, says, "Hey, I'm sorry about your uncle." I felt more of an impact there. Plus, seeing him get shot in The Amazing Spider-Man will not allow them to do what they did with Uncle Ben's death in Spider-Man 3. I'll get to that soon. The biggest thing that I really appreciate The Amazing Spider-Man for doing, even though it was really one scene where he did it, having him be a smartass, like that scene. It's on the internet, so I'm not spoiling anything. So it's that scene when he's trolling the crook about the cop. It's funny to see him just be a dick to criminals. Like hold on, one second. And just like, come on, that's not funny. It is kind of funny. But yeah, I like that, even though it lasted for one scene. I hope they carry it on in the sequel more, because that's the one trait of Spider-Man that I really absolutely love. And I kind of don't want to compare girlfriends, because obviously Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy are 2 completely different characters. But I will say I love how involved Gwen Stacy is. Like, in Spider-Man, Mary Jane always needs rescuing. She's always in some sort of trouble, and Spider-Man is always there to save her. Whereas in The Amazing Spider-Man, Gwen Stacy actually creates the antidote to revert Connors back to his original form. So she actually plays a strong part, which I appreciate. So I still like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, but I prefer The Amazing Spider-Man better. But what did you guys think? Have you seen The Amazing Spider-Man? Did you like it better than Sam Raimi's? Did you like it less? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys for the review of Spider-Man 2.